Okay, so today I'm going to show you the 5 main elements you need to build a WordPress website as a tech VA. So if you're new here, I'm Roxanne. I'm the founder of Marketing Tech Mama. It's my mission to help 100 moms work from home as a technical virtual assistant in digital marketing. So as I've stated in my previous videos, there's a huge demand for technical VA help, especially in the digital marketing field, right? This increase is coming from business owners and entrepreneurs who need an online presence, right? More than ever. And they need capable people as well to help them make this come true. So today, that's what I'm going to be showing you about the elements that you need when you're building a website using WordPress. Now, keep in mind there are other tools out there that you can use like Squarespace and Wix, but majority of the people who use Squarespace or Wix won't necessarily always hire help. Now, this isn't a 100% hard and fact rule because I've had some clients hire me to work on that platform, but it wasn't necessarily for a website. It was for something else, and that was like right a part of it. But if you're looking to help people with their websites, majority of clients that are going to be hiring for help are going to be using WordPress. Okay, so that's where you come in. So, like I said, part of my mission to be able to help 100 moms work from home as a tech VA, right, is giving them like success on how to build these things for the clients so that if they do land a client and they need somebody needs some help with like a WordPress website, they actually know what to do. They actually know the things to keep in mind, right, to make that happen and to set your clients up for success. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and just get started. I'm going to share my screen. We're going to sit here and we're going to go over we're going to sit here and we're going to go over and I'm going to show you it. So the first thing that you have to have, the first like key for element is a domain. You need to have a domain. You need to know where are you pointing people to? And I mean, domains, you can buy them. They're pretty easy. They're pretty affordable too. They're cheap, right? The popular ones are like GoDaddy, Namecheap, there's so many others that are out there, right? And the whole point is when you go to obviously, like for me, marketingtechmama.com, right? That's my name of my domain. And I can tell people go to marketingtechmama.com and you're going to see it on WordPress, right? But without a domain, I won't have anywhere to point people to. Okay. So that's what a domain is. That's where you can find it. That's why it's important and why you need it. The second item is actually hosting. So, hosting and domains go together hand in hand, right? In order to have a domain that you can send people to, you need to host that domain somewhere, right? So hosting and domains go hand in hand. They are like best friends. You kind of really can't have one without the other because if you have a hosting platform but you don't have any domains to point to, right? You're just paying to host a site without really somewhere to point people to. So that's why they go hand in hand. Hosting, there's all kinds of different like GoDaddy tries to do everything when it comes to like website stuff. There's Bluehost, there's DreamHost. That's what I use. I use DreamHost. There's all kinds of other hosting platforms out there. When it comes to all of these things, though, before I even dive deeper to this, is you need to find something that's going to work for you. Right, in your budget. You can ask other colleagues and people you know for recommendations. As a tech VA, it's really important that we have some recommendations as well. Um, for this, right? If there's certain ones that we've been working with clients and we see it's working better than others, right? We can always, it's as a tech VA, it's always important when you can bring things to the table. So I would definitely want to be familiar with some of the hosting platforms that are out there, especially as you get your feet wet on here. But yeah, so you need hosting so that you can host and park your website somewhere. That's what that does. All right, so number three, the third item that we're going to need is a theme. In WordPress, you need some type of a theme because that helps when you're building your website. You just need a theme, right? WordPress comes with basic ones, okay? And you can use those. Those are pretty good, actually. It's not really bad, but there are some themes that you have to kind of pay for. Like, Divi is one, and that's a actual theme. Um, there's Divi, there's Thrive themes, right? There's a bunch of different themes that are paid for, that are free, that you can use. Um, and it's just really honestly a matter of preference. Because like for my website, Marketing Tech Mama, I actually have a free theme. And I use, which we'll get into, Elementor as a page builder to build my website, right? That's like my page builder. Okay, so you need a theme because a theme just lets WordPress know like this website is supposed to be, it just helps WordPress, right? Like without a theme, that you're going to put in there. And you can easily change themes too. You can have a custom theme. I would just say be careful with a lot of custom stuff. Like some custom things are okay, but a lot of it is just going to be difficult because then you'll always need a developer to make changes and to update things, right? And a lot of times when clients are hiring me for their WordPress site, they don't have, either they don't have a developer, or they're not really, right, they're not familiar with that themselves. So if I give them a custom build website and they need to make simple updates, it's going to be hard for them to do that, right? So make sure that you're thinking about that as well. Like if you're going to hand this off to the client and they're supposed to be updating things themselves, make sure it's very simple and easy, and not difficult. Right, because then they're going to feel like, so now I can't even do anything simple myself. I hired someone to bring it in and set this up for me, and now I can't, I have to keep them on to maintain them, right? You always want to make it where you can see if, right, what kind of help do they already have, what kind of technical experience and knowledge do they have, because that can help when you guys are trying to decide on a theme. Okay, all right, so the next item on here, oh, it's actually 5 things and I put 6 things down here on this worksheet, but no biggie, we're actually just going to move down because I'm going to have more space for what I need to do. So the next thing, which is technically 4, let me just cross this out here, right, are plugins. Okay. So every WordPress website, especially one, like I have multiple websites for myself and my businesses, and I also build some for clients. These are the plugins that I make sure that are always included just to help with their site. It's like I can do this before I even do anything else, right? Like once I have the domain and the hosting and I know a theme, I'm going to start plugging in some plugins while I'm waiting on the next step, which we'll get to. Okay. So, one of the first things that we need to have is something to optimize the speed of your website. Okay. And I use WP Optimize. There's so many other ones that are out there and they're free, right? And the whole point of that is it's supposed to cache your website, it can compress your images, right? It's just going to do things for you to optimize your website and to try to help things moving faster, right? So that the speed is fast, it's not slow. Okay. The images are optimized because if you have too much gunk and stuff on your website, it's definitely going to slow it down. And WP Optimize definitely helps to reduce that. Okay. The next thing that we're going to use is like contact forms, especially on WordPress. When you're having a general website, you generally want like some type of a general contact thing. Like, hey, you want to reach out to us, you can reach out here. Contact form is literally the name of it inside of WordPress. There's also WP forms. Again, it comes with this stuff. You generally want to have something like this on a website, right? Where people can contact you outside of whatever your call to action is on your homepage. The next thing that you want to have is a way to back up your website because you don't want things to fall apart. And, let's say, for instance, you upload a plugin and now the site is acting wonky, it's acting crazy, it was working fine before and now it's not. That's where you need the backups, because then the backups can allow you to go to the a version where before you uploaded the plugin that caused the error, and it'll make sure you always have a copy of your website. So I use Updraft. That's actually the version that I use. Okay, so the next thing that you're going to want to use and put somewhere definitely on your website is SEO, right? That's the whole point of your website. You want people to be able to find you and to pick you up. Well, there's plugins. I mean, there's Yoast, there's Squirrely SEO. That's actually what I use, is Squirrely SEO. I do recommend Yoast. It's really, really good. as well. But with SEO is that this is going to help people. This is going to help with your on-site SEO and your keywords that are already on your site to help get more traffic to your website. Okay, the other one that I do as well that I was talking about earlier was page builders. Now, page builders are different from a theme. So, like I've mentioned in my before, is I have a free theme from WordPress, but I use Elementor as my page builder. And having Elementor as my page builder, um, right now I love it because it's easy to use, it's free, you can drag and drop. I mean, they have a lot of good features. You can do a lot of things with even just the basic version of Elementor. But there's other page builders that are out there, right? There's Beaver Builder. Thrive Themes has a theme and a page builder. I think Divi also has the same too, right? It allows you to do both. So page builders are, if the default is Gutenberg right now, as of right now, that's what the default is. And sometimes, so it's like a blocks. And sometimes it could be, I know for myself, it's just harder for me to navigate that versus Elementor because Elementor is drag and drop. I can visually see it. It doesn't look blocky. It just looks however it's going to look like as I'm building it is how it's going to look like live, which is super duper helpful. Okay, so the next plugin that you definitely want to make sure you have and install, I love this one, and I actually still use this, is insert headers and footers. So what this does is this allows you to install code to your header and footer part of your website. So, well, Roxanne, why will I need to use this, right? I thought we wanted to make it easy. And if I have to install code in the headers and footers, that sounds really difficult. Well, you're going to want to be familiar with this because when you want to have like tracking, right? Like Google Analytics, Google Tag Manager, Facebook, Google Ads, anything, TikTok ads, right? You having this plugin insert headers and footers just allows you to take that code, paste it there, and be done. Now, there are other plugins that can allow you to kind of connect. Like, hey, you can just automatically connect with, Google Analytics or Facebook. Personally, I haven't found them to be 100% stable and reliable. I actually like just adding the code onto the page because I don't have to worry about like double firing or over firing or under firing or anything like that because the code is already on there once. With the plugins, sometimes it adds extra stuff to it that you don't really need. So that's why I like insert headers and footers. So the next one that I'm going to talk about is technically two separate ones, but I'm just going to combine it for the sake of this video. And it seems kind of simple, but it's going to be super duper helpful, especially as you're building sites and trying to get these things going. So it's called Page Duplicator, and there's one for a blog duplicator. So what does this mean? This means where if I build a page and I could hit copy or duplicate, right? This plugin allows me to be able to do that. So the pages are for the websites, the blogs are obvious, or posts are for the blogs, and this just allows me to duplicate it. So that way, if I like, especially for a blog, like on my website, what we do now is we kind of created like a template per se of this is how I want this blogs to look like. And now with the blog duplicator, all I have to do now and all my team has to do is we just have to duplicate it, right? And then we can just update the contents, but then we know like the format, the functionality is going to stay the same. And it's going to be hard to do that without a page duplicator and a blog duplicator. Okay, so as far as plugins, these are the basic plugins that I would definitely use for sure. And I do use in my websites and things that I would definitely recommend to my clients as well. All right, so technically, the fifth item on here that is also really important, and this comes and this type is definitely kind of like the order, right? We're going to start with the domain first, we're going to do the hosting, we're going to have the theme, we're going to insert plugins, and then this is going to be the really important crucial part, which is the wireframe. right? And the wireframe is like, well, how is this going to look like? How's this website going to look like? What are my thoughts on that, right? And I always like to wireframe because when I'm building a website for you, I have a tech team that needs assets, right? I have a creative team per se. So my creative team, my copywriter, right, my graphic designer, they need to see some type, everybody needs to be able to see the goal of how the website is. So when I ask like my creative team, my tech team, here's this, here's that, they know exactly what to do. There's no confusion, right? And wireframing really helps with that. Now, when it comes to wireframing, there's tons of tools. Okay, there's lots of tools that we can use. As you can see here, I have my iPad and I can just draw, and that's what I'm gonna do right now as a sample wireframe. Again, you can use Google Draw. It's free. And personally, like I said, I've tried like all the different paid stuff and I still end up going to the free stuff, especially Google Draw because it's just a great tool. You can just use it, it's there. Okay. So, what is wireframing? Wireframing is like this is kind of like the outline of how the website's supposed to look like. Okay. It's not going to be like 100% this is the final version, but again, this is a way for me to understand how the website's supposed to look like, for my clients to understand what's supposed to look like, right, for my team to understand. Without this, it's hard to conceptualize. Okay, so let's say we're going to do a home page. I'm just going to wireframe a home page as an example. This is just an example so we can know what's happening. I'm just gonna put here like logo, right? I know I want a logo here. I want some text here that's like, you know, it's gonna say something that's really important and grab people's attention, right? I want then an image here. And again, this is just a way so that it's really clear for everybody what to do. So, right, I want the text, I want an image here. Then I want another section where, let's say, we're just going to do all just text here. We're just going to text and we're just going to talk. And then let's say we're going to put an image here, right, with some text on the side, right? And we're going to just do that again with text. Okay, and then let's say I want like a about me section that has um so I'm just gonna put here, like I would want to make it a little different. Let's say we put text right here and maybe an image down here. Okay, so this is obviously a rough wireframe, but with something like this, and this is literally what I do, then I come here and I'm like, all right, I give it to my graphic designer. Hey, this is how we want it to look like based on, these ideas that we have. This is, their brand guide. If they have a brand guide, here's all of these things. And it's like, hey, can you create like a layout for me based off of this? And she'll go ahead and create it. Then from that, I would give it to my copywriter. Hey, copywriter, we need some text over here, right? Here's the images. Here's how it's going to look like. Can you write text based on this? This is our angle, right? This is the assets and things that you need. So then they can go in, they can write the text. And then once I have my images and I have my text and I have all that stuff in the designs, I can give it then to my tech team and say, okay, here's the wireframe, here's the text, here's the image, here's everything. Can you go ahead and build it? Bing, bam, boom, right? So that's why wireframing is really, really important because you need to know how you want the website to look like before you even start doing anything with image and text, right? But the beautiful thing about the wireframe is it really can come after all this stuff. You can do all of this other stuff in the meantime, right? Get this set up, and then the wireframes last, right? So then you go in and you get that going, and then you can build a website. And I would definitely recommend to do this for every page that you have, okay? Not just one page, have every page. Have one Google Drive. If you need multiple pages or multiple slides for it, you definitely can. But just make sure that you have this because it's going to be easier for you, your clients, everybody, your team when you get big enough to have a team moving forward. Okay, so if you get hired to build out a WordPress website and you follow these steps that I just shared with you, you will definitely have a happy client, right? For sure. And happy clients mean they'll be willing to stay with you for the long term. And the best part is they'll be willing to tell other people about you, which can really grow your business significantly. Okay, so That's it for today's video. If you like this video and you want to see more content like this, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button so you can be notified when more content gets released like this. I also write more about how it's like being a technical virtual assistant on my blog at marketingtechmama.com/blog. Until next time.